Welcome back. Ryanair Holdings plc is starting a recruitment drive for pilots in South Africa as the budget airline seeks crew to helm its expanding fleet of jets. The Irish carrier will hold road shows in Johannesburg and Cape Town later this month and is looking to hire captains for Boeing 737s. Successful candidates will relocate to Europe and help staff a fleet that's expected to increase to 580 planes from about 425 over the next 6 years. The search for pilots in far-flung countries such as South Africa comes as Dublin-based Ryanair battles with unions in Europe over pay and conditions. Nigeria is seeking more foreign direct investment, but the Investment Promotion Commission says it is also important to promote domestic investment. That was the message from the Executive Secretary of the NIPC, Yewande Sadiku, at the Nnewi Automotive Industrial Park Roundtable held in Anambra State last week. The NIPC chief also spoke about some of the agency's plans for Anambra, one of Nigeria's frontline industrial and commercial nerve center.
We think it is important to try to get as much foreign investment as possible. In fact, we think Nigeria should be trying to get more than her fair share of foreign investment. But foreigners will invest when they see that you're investing. Imagine if I came to your house and you asked me to eat, and you yourself refuse to eat the food. I may wonder why you're giving me and you're not eating it yourself. But if I see that you're eating it with relish, in fact, that you look like you don't even want to invite me to join you, I may then ask, Uncle, what did I do now? Go ask me to join you now so I can eat a little bit. So we believe very strongly in promoting domestic investment. We think that it will make it, one, easier to get foreigners to invest. We also think that in the enormity of Nigeria's potential, when in the fullness of time, that potential gets converted from potential to economic wealth, we don't want our people to have been bystanders in the conversion of Nigeria's economic potential to economic wealth. But it is true that the government is committed to developing manufacturing capacity in Nigeria. And from some work that was done at NIPC, even before I joined, it was found that automotive components was what we call a low-hanging fruit, one of those things that Nigeria can easily, develop capacity in. And once we have a stronger automotive components industry, then it is easier for existing operators like Innocent or new operators that come into the market, to grow actively. So we're committed at NIPC to supporting the development of investment in Nigeria, not just by Nigerians, but also by foreigners. But we believe very, very strongly that we must proactively get more Nigerians to invest in their own country. When investors look to invest in a place, they look first at the broad conditions. They see whether the government is receptive, whether the policies are friendly, and whether when they make inquiries, the people behave like they actually want them to come. And all investors do this, whether they're domestic investors or they're foreign investors. With the establishment of a strong agency like ANSIPA, Anambra State is already in a very, very good stead, to ensure that the appropriate type of investments are attracted to the state. At NIPC, we now track investment announcements across the country. And we found last year that in total, about $66 billion worth of investment announcements were made in 112 projects across Nigeria. But these were merely investment announcements. They only translate to investment when agencies work with them to convert those investments to actual money coming in, actual factories being set up. And we will work closely this year with agencies at the federal level, but also with agencies like ANSIPA, to drive in relation to any announcements that are made about investment opportunities in Anambra State. to drive them to actualization, so they're not just investment announcements. And of all the states that we saw investment announcements in, the investment announcements for Anambra last year came to $2.6 billion. $2.6 billion of investment announcements for Anambra. So we will work with ANSIPA to see how many of those we can actualize.
And in Uganda, a tour company in Kampala has introduced a new service for visitors to see the city aboard its first open-top bus. The 4-hour trip gives Ugandans and foreigners a chance to explore landmarks and learn more about the capital's history and cultural heritage.
Promote Uganda Safari wants passengers on board the open-roof double-decker bus to see historic buildings and sites that are significant to the country's history and culture. The Kampala Sightseeing Tour Bus goes through a designated route where passengers get to see monuments like the Education and Independence Monuments, statue of the country's first president, Sir Edward Mutisa, key buildings like Parliament, the Bank of Uganda, churches, mosques, and historic sites significant to the Buganda Kingdom, including the Kabaka's Royal Palace, Kabaka's Lake, and Kasubi Royal Tombs. The 69-seater bus was launched in December and makes 2 trips daily.
Despite being in Kampala for the last 35 years, it's as if I'm coming in from America now, because I'm seeing things in detail.
The tour takes about 4 hours and costs $25 for East Africans and $30 for foreigners. Children's tickets are discounted.
We get to see the things that we don't see every day, and that you're able to take a picture, because you know when you're moving in town, you are safeguarding your phone, your camera, so it's a nice experience.
The country is more known for its wildlife tours and various national parks, home to chimpanzees, gorillas, as well as spectacular waterfalls and big game animals. The company is working to bring in more buses this year and will also expand the tour circuit to other cities in the country.
Research shows that a number of tourists have been coming to Uganda and leave with a lot of money that they had wanted to spend in Uganda but could not spend it because of the limited tourism products that we've been offering. And worldwide, a city like Uganda, which has got a lot of history, rated to be one of the safest cities in East Africa, really deserves this kind of product, because there is a lot to offer.
We do have the visitors that are only here, say, for 2 days, and probably have a conference in the morning and have the whole afternoon free. And this is a wonderful opportunity because there is so much to learn within the 7 hills of Kampala, within the Kingdom of Buganda, about where we are and where we are located. So for us, this is wonderful.
Uganda's private sector is scrambling to exploit demand for luxury products from the country's expanding middle class. Those behind the tourist bus say so far the response has been positive, with morning and afternoon rides often fully booked.
And with that, we draw the curtain on today's edition of the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimizi Obi. You're welcome.